infinitely customizable desk organisers, Bambu Lab's brand new H2D personal manufacturing hub, OpenGrid. What more could you want from a video? Meet Deskware. Okay folks, now many of you have been using my underwear, and so you'll know that it solves the problem of unruly cables rather nicely. But as I was making the control desk for my new workshop, I realised that whilst the solution for under the desk was obvious, I needed to come up with something better for all those things that sit on the desk. This was the genesis of Deskware. And the unique requirements to make Deskware look really nice made this an awesome opportunity to properly road test the newly launched Bambu Lab H2D, which a lot of my Discord members have been desperate to see in action. But like many 3D printed solutions out there, underwear is designed for function, not style. But that is why the shift I've been talking about with my Discord gang, which I've referred to as the Crafting Singularity, is perfectly timed for Deskware. Here's the vision. 3D printed skeleton that's packed with so much modularity it'll make you go. Drawer slides are built right into these risers, and underneath a modular base plate loaded with OpenGrid connectors, letting you attach things in almost any way imaginable. Click, done. And yes, I just said OpenGrid. I haven't mentioned my new favourite grid for keeping things firmly in place before, and I'll come back to that later. I've created recesses to allow flexible cable routing through the base of the shelf for anything that you require. Qi chargers, lights, USB hubs, everything is easy. And if that wasn't enough, the entire thing is infinitely customizable to whatever width, length, height, or shape you desire. Now that's all great, but we are now faced with one of the weaknesses of every 3D printed solution out there. Yes, they're modular. Yes, they are very easy to print, but they are almost inevitably bugly. Now, I've designed this so that you can make Deskware entirely out of plastic if you wish, but it's very hard to make plastic alone look great. This has always been where simple 3D printers tap out. Wood filament is okay, but it's basically printing MDF, which is hardly the looker of the wood world. Silk filaments, they just can't replicate the finish of a gloss paint, so they're a bit of a halfway house. Ultimately, being limited in your materials is always going to hold you back, and this comes back to the crafting singularity. All these crafting tools are heading in the same direction. Woodworking has moved to an XYZ system with an end mill. Embroidery has an XYZ system for a mad sewing stabber. Laser cutters, the same but with frickin' lasers. Blade cutters, pen drawers, even weeders. The crafting world is being taken over by G-code. And if it's converging on the same thing, well, then surely the future becomes about companies moving from dozens of tools that do one thing to tools that increasingly do it all. And this is why Bambu Lab's recent launch of the H2D, which is not just a 3D printer, but what they call a personal manufacturing hub, shows they get it. Now, you won't just be able to make plastic objects materialize in your home. You have a personal factory to create all the parts for a mixed material object. As you will have seen from my Herbus planter project last year, you need to mix materials to make something look classy. It's important to get the palette right. The sweet spot is 2 or 3 colours. Too few and it looks too sterile and lacks style. Too many and it just looks noisy. Notice how the moment you add a natural material such as wood, leather or cork, it instantly elevates the style. Adding metallic touches is another high impact choice. And that's why for this Deskware design, I've added these swappable toppers and drawer fronts. This means that I can swap the entire look and feel of the project in minutes if I fancy. White, walnut and copper was a good combo for my white kitchen. But I'm going to be using this Deskware in my workshop. So this time I'm going with 3D printing the skeleton in black metal PLA and laser cutting the veneer in oak plywood. This is the brown in my palette. I also will be adding some chrome handles that I bought online for the metallic element. The skeleton is super easy to click together using these connectors. No need for any glue on this part. After that, it's time to add the glass. After laser cutting the veneer pieces and sanding a touch if you need to, I just needed to add a dab of super glue to fix the veneer onto the PLA drawer and top frames, and these then click into place. I have hidden a Qi charger under one of the toppers. I also 3D printed a transparent TPU ring for grip, as well as a transparent ring for the outside to let the charger's light shine through. I laser cut some black acrylic inserts for the wireless symbol. I printed little TPU feet to add grip. Next, the handles. Now I could have 3D printed these, but this is one of those tactile points where the feel of the metal makes such a difference to the impression of quality. And on that same tactile point, I extended the brown in my palette with these cork inserts to the Gridfinity bins, because this just gives that extra layer of class and a soft feel when you drop anything in. After this, it was just a matter of repeating this process for as many modules as I wanted to have on the desk. I'll look to publish a guide on my site, and for Patreon and YouTube members, a bit more of a detailed behind the scenes video in the coming weeks. Whilst I finish up the build of everything, I thought I could cover a few less obvious features of the H2D that I've noticed whilst doing this project. So sit back, relax, and let's get crafting. The H2D is a perfect example of this new generation of Singularity devices. But some of the excitement around it being a personal manufacturing hub runs the risk of missing the fact that this is also an extremely capable 3D printer. On top of this, it's not just the fact that this can do all of these extra tasks like laser cutting, die cutting and more, but there's some subtle features that the combination of these technologies has unlocked. So while you can read all the specs on their site, and I will add links in the description, here are some less obvious features that I've only noticed as I've used it more and more on this project. The on-screen camera is brilliant for laser cutting. It shows close up what's going on in super high resolution, and this avoids any need to peer through the windows and try and work out what's happening. I love this, and an instant, why doesn't everyone do this feature? It's not immediately obvious, but the 3D printing heritage of this device means that it's a little bit quicker than most laser cutters to set up. Most have a fixed bed that you have to therefore adjust the height of the slats to suit the piece that you're cutting, but the H2D just moves up the bed to that exact height automatically. It's kind of obvious when pointed out, but it's very handy. Auto vents are great solutions to the long-standing issue with venting with printing some materials like PLA. And it means that you can just forget about all of that leaving the door open nonsense. But they're also just very cool to watch as it automatically opens. They've also used it for cool safety features. For example, they close if the AI camera detects a fire when laser cutting. So oxygen is just immediately starved from the flames. This thing has cameras, lots and lots of cameras. And whereas the X1C's camera was decent, they've ramped up the camera and it's got a better frame rate and the lighting is way better. This was always an odd weak point of the X1C. The cameras are sorted, properly sorted. I had read skeptics online saying it makes no sense to combine a 3D printer with a laser cutter because the dust and debris created when laser cutting is just incompatible with 3D printing. So I was expecting this to be an issue, but so far I just haven't found that to be the case. They give you a brush, but let's be honest, if you've got a 3D printer, then wiping the bed is just second nature. And I found it was no effort at all to just give the laser bed a quick hoof. I found it easy to add and remove the laser modules. And you also have the option of the die cutting and a pen. Who knows what they might release in future. It's easier if you can access the module via the top window. So you might want to find an alternative spot for your AMS to live than on the top of the printer. I used the usual Bambu Studio for all the 3D printing and Bambu Suite for the laser cutting. It's very intuitive, and now that I know how to laser cut, there will be next to no learning curve to expand that to the die cutter and pen drawer, which also use the Bambu Suite for 2D work. You need to remember the direction of the grain if you're cutting something like wood. And it's just so easy to see and adjust this on screen in the Bambu Suite. Sometimes your material can come out a bit singed, and that's normal for a laser cutting. So you can flip it around if you have a symmetrical object, and all these draw fronts are. Or you can just sand it down a touch. Or the other option for asymmetrical shapes is to just mirror image that in the software so that the burnt bits are on the other side. The dual extruder is a very clever solution to the long-standing challenge of high-speed multi-material and multicolour printing. This is very much a new approach to tackling the problem that reduces the waste of both time and materials that the old AMS-driven approach took. And after much designing, 3D printing and laser cutting using PLA, TPU, oak ply, cork and acrylic and much more, it was all ready for action. I give you Deskware. Fully modular units that you can extend infinitely and adapt as you fancy. Each drawer is perfectly sized to fit either Gridfinity grids or OpenGrids, both of which are aligned to fit each other. Ah yes, OpenGrid. I will cover this in more detail in future, but for now, all I'll say is this is my favourite grid for keeping things firmly in place, on walls, under desks, on the top of surfaces if you like. It's multi-compatible, like an API for grids. You can use it with Underware now too. I'll link to David D's video in the description so that you can find out more. You can tuck everything away in these little Gridfinity grid drawers. And those of you who've joined the multi-material world with an H2D or already have a laser cutter, I've also got SVG files so you can easily cut inserts for everything. The tops can be swapped as your style changes or the latest standards come out. USB-C Qi chargers, no problem. These can be swapped for anything. I've built a custom topper that fits my Stream Deck XL using a wooden cover so that even that fits in with the general style. Another lets me put Gridfinity bins on top. The possibilities are endless. So Patreons and YouTube members, there's a supremely powerful beta of a complete customizer for all this in the Discord channel created by the quite extraordinary guild member Blackjack Duck. So go and check it out. It'll let you adjust the height, depth, length of everything, however you fancy. But also super keen to get any other ideas as well. I can almost hear DMG's cogs whirring with cool additions. David D's ready to churn out awesome OpenGrid add-ons, and the ever bonkers Pedro, who somehow dreams up things that the rest of us couldn't even hallucinate. Check out his flexible OpenGrid for an example of how creative he really is. There's hundreds of modules and add-ons that we could build into this, so please share your thoughts in the comments. There's a whole gang of amazing designers in the Discord channel ready to turn your dreams to reality. And as always, everything will be free and open source, so the entire community can build on it once Patreons and YouTube members have given it a good test. I'll update the description and add it to my site in a couple of weeks probably, where all the latest files will be visible. Hwyl fawr pawb!